Performance indeed.
Just started.
I'll see you dead.
Too bad you won't make it much further.
Hey, good game. Thanks for the match. I hope you had fun. Most of the time, when people succeed in getting hatch in my games, it's when they have a swift and somebody disconnects. They use a map buffering to spawn hatch in a predictable place, like Killer Shack or main building, and they have their friends disconnect and they surprise hatch out at the end. But unless people are willing to exploit or use like external software, I don't think anyone ever really gets out. It's very unusual, at least in public matchmade games. I have a 100% 4K rate on Wesker. I never let anybody get out. Meet me next time. This game is a competition, you know. And don't get me wrong, you can definitely lose and still have fun, but you're supposed to try to win. Honestly, I have more fun when I do lose. Even if that hasn't happened yet with Wesker.
I shall release Ouroboros. You can't hide forever!
By the way, this is a horrible place to give me my first down, because you can body block this doorway and no one can get to this hook. They'd have to come from the chem room if they're on that generator, which they didn't start yet. Or they'd have to use the stairwells on either end. But if anybody tries to check through the ground level, they have to walk around. I can just stand here. And we do hear somebody behind me. They haven't sprayed yet either. This is just too early. So we get value from Deadlock and No Way Out. Rebecca's here, 2 people not in gens. They're wasting time. Okay, somebody is in the chem room, so they can trade for me. It's worse now though because I have a slug. So Ace has to come, and if Ace drops to pick up the slug, it's worse. 2 slugs, now it's just Ace. Camping in Dead by Daylight is something that punishes stupid survivor play. Especially in this case, because I'm running a Deadlock and No Way Out. I have passive slowdown. If a team is efficient, that means they split up in 4 cardinal directions and they do generators efficiently. I don't have time to camp. Even running Deadlock and even running a No Way Out. And they make me use the map. Wesker's not a super strong killer in Chase. And so ideally you want to use many resources. Many pallets, many windows. Make me do a little bit of legwork. And that makes it more of a liability as well if I'm gonna eat a second chance perk of some sort. Like, Unbreakable doesn't matter if I'm standing on you.
Do you actually think you could defeat me?
It's not the killer that camps, it's the survivors that decide to get camped. The camping's just a reaction. It's kind of like when survivors complain they get slugged. This is just what counters the way the survivors try to play the game. Why would you play Wii Sports when you could play Team Sports? I never understood that. I like tennis, I like handball, I like soccer. But the Wii variations seem kind of boring. Those games are better in a more physical format. Now, if Ace here disconnects, maybe Spent gets a chance at Hatch. Like, there is techs you can do to try to exploit the system a bit and make Hatch spawn. Otherwise, we bleed out Centaur, and then Ace will be on Death Hook. That means he doesn't get a chance to 4%. Alternatively, he could have Unbreakable and Soul Guard together, and maybe he gets some distance. And because I grabbed him with an M2, maybe flip-flop's a thing. Otherwise, depending on what perks are in play, he doesn't really get anywhere. And if he wiggles, because I don't have a hook right here, and flip-flop and a pre-grab, which gives wiggle progress, are both in play, I might wind up bleeding out Ace 2. If he wiggles, I drop him. He wiggled. We can bleed him too. Obviously, the bleed out also prevents the 4%. You can't Kobe off the floor. They should change that. I was very much down with the idea of giving survivors base kit unbreakable. That would have been kinda hot. I hope behavior reconsiders. Because even if it would be grossly OP, I think it would be really fun to play against. I kind of like when survivors have good tools. That's what we like to see, VAC band players. I'm hoping for something exciting this game. I'm hoping we get a stronger team. Or somebody using something spicy that makes the game harder.
You'll pay for that.
They didn't stray yet. And it's a bitch to get upstairs from this. So I think that Michaela goes second before I bother the courtyard. Or they give me a nice trade. Gabe is here. So that's two people not in gens, and Michaela's just going second. Sure did. Which one were you? This music room, by the way, is a death trap because if you throw the pallet from the inside, you always get hit on the way out. So it's a really shitty place to get injured.
Do you actually think you could defeat me?
Especially when there's some type of time pressure. In this case, it was 5 generators,
Bad you won't make
and
it
everybody was infected. So if that was you, should have seen it coming. Oh yeah.
High performance indeed.
It's a great way of converting a 3v1 at 5 gens though. Realistically speaking, like if I camp you, what the fuck are they supposed to do? It's a shame the game goes this way, but I mean, yikes. Hope for the next team is better. Now, Unbreakable, Soul Guard, and various other perks, maybe the game goes on. But the play here is we bleed out Gabe, and then Meg is on Death Hook. Then neither one of them gets a chance to 4%. And we said that the music room was a suicide. This loop is kind of as well. Because if the killer's outside and you vault this window, you're getting hit on the left or the right. Similar deal with the bathroom pallet behind us. The killer needs to be inside when you throw it. And it becomes very strong if they're inside when you leave. It's a trash loop though, if you throw it and the killer's outside, because you just get zoned. There's some exceptions with Lithe, or especially a Lithe Resilience. But from the inside, this window is also super hard to fast vault, unless you're a mouse and keyboard and you know how to swing your camera. This loop becomes a little bit better if you drop down from the storage, the medical supply room upstairs, and you take it from this direction. Especially if the breakable door is still up. Hum. You've never been to the island. That's okay. I think most people can't afford to live here. And nice and easy, death hook. No 4%, no fuss, no muss. Well, they certainly had the perks for it, Christ. They could have made that a closer game. I think we're getting too many solo queue survivors. We need a strong Swift. And hopefully people with a few more hours in the game. Maybe we get like a bunch of new players with the event going on. Or people who haven't played in a while. A lot of these groups have been clowns. It's like behavior releases a few cakes and all of a sudden people wanna move around. We noticed this with new killer releases as well. Whenever you get a new influx of players, MMR just tanks. I think it's because you can get to the top tier too quickly. And with a relatively small sample size of games. We need a bit of resistance, something to chew on, someone that fights back.
I shall release Ouroboros! You disappoint me. Is that the best you've got? 7 minutes is all I could spare to play with you.
Too bad you won't make it much further.
Poor performance indeed. I'll see you dead. Are you trying to make me angry? Is that all you have?
And Blender, huh? I'm guessing we played. Thanks for the match.
I shall release Ouroboros.
Trailfish. That crow sucked, by the way, because that means they were all in main or they were behind main. Because whoever left that crow passed into main. It sucks less now, especially when we get a Cheryl in animation. And she runs the wrong way. Oh boy. It's gonna be one of those teams. It's gotta be the event. Because these people do not belong in my MMR. Don't get me wrong, MMR isn't great in this game. But it was better than this. Oh, I see, yeah. If it wasn't from one of the matches, how'd you find me? We must have played at some point, yes.
Poor performance indeed.
Holy shit! Cheryl is teleporting.
I'll see you dead.
That's some wild thing. Shame she doesn't have Dead Hard. Old Dead Hard for distance with leg like that was wild. Alright, sweet dice. They're both infected. They need to use spray. He's second already. And if they want to run cross map for Cheryl, they can. They have no gen progress, and we have deadlock no way out. It looks like I get to camp Adam too. Hey, now we know Megan's there. So we have free reign to grab Adam, and I would have just stayed there and looked at Sweet if Meg didn't blow the gen. How cool is that? We got an extra slug.
Playtime is over.
I see. I'm surprised. I didn't think that YouTube would recommend. They always say that this platform's super undiscoverable. That's cool. Well, Psycho, it depends. Camping is a reaction. Nobody goes into the game just planning on camping, or at least they shouldn't if they're good. It depends on how survivors play. If somebody goes down at 5 gens and the team shows me visual confirmation or audio information, or I see people running off into corrupt intervention, I know there's no pressure in gens, I can convert that game into a win by standing next to a hook. I see. Then in that case, keep that energy and clap me next time. Bully today and the bullies tomorrow, right? Fuck me up. Thanks for the match, you guys were amazing. The best advice I can give you is to split up in 4 cardinal directions, preferably as far as possible from each other, and you want to pre-spray at the same time so I can't convert that information, and then you want to pre-work on generators. You get a really hefty penalty if you work on the same generator that proved itself, but if you put me under enough pressure, I don't have time to stand next to Hook and camp. This is a disaster, and you're never gonna win this game. You lost it very early on. I would even say that Cheryl lost the game, because not only did she give me an early hit in a bad area of the map, but she did it in animation lock. She didn't make enough distance, and when she took the vault, she ran the wrong way. When I queue up into a match of Dead by Daylight, I assume that I'm much better than the other 4 players combined. And I'm kind of expected to 4K. And that's not a humble brag, it's just I have way too many hours in this game and I'm a relatively sweaty player. And I will only camp if the team fucks up. Like normally slugging people and tunneling one person while people try to take hits and try to shit out and split up on generators is better. Camping is a luxury. Camping is something you do if you're under absolutely no pressure and you literally don't have to do anything. In comp, that's different. In competitive play or like against like a really strong team, you camp because you're not expected to 4K and you're getting like the result that you can. Especially like if you hook somebody in the dead area of the map, that's a place where like the pallets have already been used. I don't think you have to be good to face camp somebody. I think recognizing and creating the situation where you can or should is a better expression of skill. But even then, it's not like you just walk into a match, you play well, and you get to camp somebody. It also requires the survivors to screw up. And you can't guarantee that you're going to play against idiots every game. I shouldn't call them idiots, because at the same time, like, we don't know how much these people play. They could be new, or they could be drinking. I'm a little bit drunk right now, I'm not exactly playing my best. They could be more smashed than me. Anywho, it's the 7th anniversary. We go next, we have fun. And hopefully the next team does better. But camping is something you do to secure a partial result, or something that you do to convert an already heavily won game. It's a luxury. It's not something that you can just go into and hope for. It's very ambitious to try. Even with my loadout, and I'm running 5 slowdown perks if you count the vial. That's another thing as well, like I'm playing Wesker right now. It's not unrealistic to ask people to hold out on the first down. You can also make the argument that I don't have to camp somebody, or I don't have to use sweaty tactics to win the game. But it's still better. If I pull my punches just because the other guy's smaller than me, how is he ever gonna learn? What I will say though, it's nice to be able to camp people now and then. Because recently when we had the Call O'Brien eruption meta, it was much better to just leave everyone on the floor. And I would slug people for an hour. I'd hold a 3-gen or more realistically a 5 or a 6-gen, considering how my games usually go. I would hit and run, people would run to the corner of the map, boom up, use medkits, and it would be like a war of attrition, but they would make no progress. And most of my games ended without me hooking anybody except the last survivor when the first 3 bled out. And I played so many of them, so this is a nice change in pace. I see 3 event toolboxes. No, on second inspection, the leaders doesn't look like an event box. Could be a combo box. Maybe we have some scavenger gamers. Some hyper focus, built to last. Hyper focus is a pog perk, by the way. Because even the stakeout cheesers get to benefit against Wesker. He's not super mobile. And he has the giant air radius. And because they're native toolboxes, not things people are finding in the trials, I can respect that they might have gen builds, and I can respect that reassurance exists. I can expect that gen perks do exist, and maybe I'm incentivized to ask for a little bit more before I start camping someone this game. Earlier in the pain res meta, where you won by trading on a pain resonance hook, you usually won by slugging somebody and trading and tunneling the second down. Yeah, Survivor's got a ton of blood points too. So you can have like a ton of items, you can bring good stuff to every trial. It's early into the event. I'm hoping to see more of that as people get their farming at the system and maybe want to actually play and use all their goodies. I really like when the game is hard. I didn't drop a map until since Eternal bullied me, which was a huge joy. It was very nice to get some games with the Eternal. After, what's it called? I had like an 11-hour stream of games just like this, and I was just ready to pack it up, got called in for some matches, it was great. I'm really itching to lose some. I have a 100% 4K rate on Wesker right now, and it's driving me nuts. I want to get a couple harder matches, and I want to be able to go into matches with that in mind. Well, Pain Res is like a second No Way Out. It's an extra gen. It's a good perk. Ho 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 ho! Okay. Good spawns. Even with Scavenger, by the way, that is campable as hell. I can entirely camp that Toledo right now.
You disappoint me. Is that the best you've got?
We're gonna bring Nia back to the slug.
Is all I could spare.
If this was a comp game or something, which wouldn't start out this way. By the way, I run Sloppy to make that suck. Altruism into Wesker is miserable because you get Ouroboros and you also get the Sloppy. We're tunneling Nia. I was gonna say this is your brain on life, but that doesn't look like life to me.
Poor performance indeed.
Yeah, we definitely have people that didn't play in a while, coming back to DBD for the event. This is something else. But splat. And we found Lori. Cool beans. Nah, she's actually running to the back wall too. Poor Thalita. No Soul Guard on Little Fairy Slayer. Both Thalitas don't have a Soul Guard for me. We break in from this side. Or we just tap her, that's fine too. She's funny, I like her. I dislike when people meme in a match, but after the game is over it becomes cute. Right, Lori? Speaking of cute, I love her injured noises. They're actually fantastic. Now she'll run around I'd be more than content
Too
to hang out with
bad
her for the
you won't
duration
make
of the
it much
match.
further.
Because if Luri's on the ground, she can charge flip-flop, and if you hit your great skill checks and you have flip-flop, you can wiggle off in 5.5 seconds. It's close to the 6. But it becomes a little bit annoying. And of course, Luri can also have Unbreakable Soul Guard. In an earlier patch, I would let her pick up the leaders repeatedly, but when they're both here, so 2, she can pick them both up while I'm in attack cooldown. And Luri herself can have made for this. So there's some weird endurance shenanigans. If Luri stands up, I'll try to wait out Soul Guard or grab her out of her vault. With that in mind, I should probably even stand on this side of her. Otherwise, we do have a hook here, so Luri can go up when the leaders bleed out. Then she'll be on death hook, she can't 4%. I think that's the play. The other reason I like No Way Out over Pain Res, besides not requiring a scared check, is No Way Out is harder to scout. People will see Deadlock, they'll see Corrupt, they'll see Sloppy, they'll be able to call these perks out very easily, and they don't have to worry about what my last perk might be. I like having the wild card in No Way Out, and No Way Out has the added benefit of making hatched standoffs a little bit nicer. It's a good kill secure perk. And if we discount people that are blatantly cheating and flying around with software, the Milky Way gamers, most of my losses are DCs into hatch. And No Way Out themselves with those games. You'll have people DC for hatch, and even if I find hatch first, somebody can literally do 5 gens while I stand on it. Or do I gamble that they don't find the key? Keep that energy smug, beat me next time. It's like your villain origin story. You're gonna destroy me next time. I'm looking forward to it. I see, you're one of those up-and-coming rappers, yeah? You gotta like make a mixtape or something. Give that to me in audio format. I'd play it on stream. Maybe I'm not up to date on the slurs and vernacular. Mind you, I'm not particularly woke, and I'm not a particularly offensible person. So I was never super mindful about any of that. Am I? I shouldn't be. Oh, maybe my stream's lagging. It could be on a delay. And I thought I was responding in real time. I'm sorry, you're not a native speaker? Thanks for the match, you guys are cuties. Right? But hey, look on the bright side. If I'm smelly, then you can smell too. And I think that makes you super lucky if you get to smell like me. I wish I could get upset about the game. That would be kind of fun. The only time I've been genuinely upset playing any form of esport would be when I was like going into something with regrets and I wasn't prepared and I'd screw up a really nice opportunity, either like drinking or being like super tired or being like mentally not present. And it was like the regret of not making a great impression. I like an intense match, but for the most part, my games don't feel super intense. Especially in Dead by Daylight, because a lot of these games are obviously super one-sided. Like, I'm going through the motions. Username checks out.
Just getting started.
I'm sorry, Smug. You just sounded like a slug. One of my slug vibers. I normally only hear that type of talk from people that I beat. But if we didn't play yet, I look forward to playing with you. Well, Meg doesn't show me any urgency. I guess that means I can camp. Meg is walking around saving a sprint burst. Isn't that cute? I like her. Between Meg and me, I'm super satisfied. Like, even hyperfocus doesn't fix that. You know what I get a lot? Yep. People telling me that, oh, I didn't play with you, but like my friend did, and like it was really embarrassing what you did in their game. Or like some guy's dad's friend's cousin lured to me, and they're just letting me know that it's not that cool. Nia here, by the way, could have fast vaulted that if she swung her camera, but it's really hard. It's one of the hardest fast vaults in the game to hit. David, are you gonna play the grab game with me? Or are you gonna pick up Nia? Well, you know, it's Smug and glad to queue up. And I hope that this is banter. Like, God willing, you're not having a bad time. And if you are, then I hope you can turn that frown upside down, so to speak. Yeah.
You'll pay for that.
I'm sure you're a cutie.
You disappoint me. Is that the best you
Young
got?
buck today, alpha male tomorrow, right?
7 minutes is all I can spare to play.
Maybe. Who knows? Maybe these guys are like all like turbo juicers and they like loot me for 5 gems. That'd be pretty cool, actually.
Too bad you won't make it much further.
Props to David for trying it. Dead hard out of field of view. It wasn't quite out of field of view, but he gave the idea was there. There are killers that would have swung into that. Hum. You know, I'm actually quite tall. Oh, that's interesting. Smug. I've seen that in people's usernames quite a few times on both Twitch when I was streaming there, and here on YouTube. Would you like to explain to me what one of these so-called Discord kittens is? You're like a little bit, cultured, yeah? You gotta educate me on this, Discord kitten business. If you don't mind, like, outing yourself there. If it's a self-report, like, don't feel pressured. Unfortunately, I'm not welcome on Reddit anymore. Too much shrumping.
Poor performance indeed.
Is it really nonsense if he believes in it, though? Maybe it makes sense to him.
Just accept your fate.
Trumping. I think that Reddit's a little bit too liberal for me. Or rather, I'm a little bit too conservative for Reddit. Maybe we can flirt with Meg on Hook a little bit. give it a little love tap. I don't actually think I can hook the knee if she wriggles. So we'll see. I'll just drop her if she tries to wriggle. Yep, I swayed a bit there. That's fine. We can hang out and listen to her moans. It's not unpleasant. Was that directed at me or Yeppy? I don't know the lingo so well, Smug. If you'll pardon my innocent wibbiers. Hey, sick burn. To be fair, you're moaning too. When you say stinky, what do you mean? Are you like saying metaphorically, like I smell at the game, or like you're saying that I smell, like ostensibly, like I don't shower? Like what's the burn? Do you mean in multiple ways? We've got to like enrich the lore a little bit. You gotta clarify. Cause like I could take that multiple ways. Not to step on your toes, I'm sure you're better at taking it than me. Oh, that's cool. I could own that. Personally, I love the sweat. Let's go to Winwich. Awesome! Clicked. Thanks for the match. Good game, well played. No, Smug. I'm kind of vanilla. I'm sorry you feel that way. Good luck in the next one. Unless you mean that like in a flattering way, like you think I was like oppressive. Like, I definitely do look at Dead by Daylight almost like a dating sim, where your goal as the killer is to try to force as much interaction and occupy the survivors as much as possible and like derail their objective, and you have to build a rapport and you have to force the altruism cycles and you have to make them interact with you and each other and the floor rather than the generators. Like, if you mean annoying or, like, intrusive in that sense, then yeah, I could definitely see that. That's kind of what I'm going for. Or if you mean, like, annoying, like that wasn't the type of game you wanted to play, then I'm sorry. And hopefully MMR straightens out as the event dies down and as people go to where they belong. I do quite well for myself. Honestly, Smug, I hate to admit it, but I'm kind of into you calling me ugly. I get a lot of people pleasers, and it kind of isn't my style. It's really refreshing that someone's able to talk to me that way. Even if it's just banter. It makes me feel way more relatable. So keep up the good work. I think we'll get along just fine.
I shall release Ouroboros.
Ah, this was so close to being God spawn. They're on the far corner, but because somebody could have sprinted into these gens, I want to come from the music room. And if people spray, I could do the rare motive of trying to reinfect people. I wonder if it's even worth waiting on you. Because this is a really crappy area of the map. If you never spray, I would have actually waited on the gate. Because this is a miserable place to go down. And then I would have camped her. Because this is Midwich and I have tight gens. And Corrupt was up for the entire void period because it didn't down anyone else yet. But she kind of got the worst of both worlds because she reinfected herself, she goes down anywho's. If I nod, will he come? Gotta show him how friendly I am, right? Ah. That wasn't Steve. Have you ever done like the virtual thing? Because if you don't mind me asking, I know it's like a personal subject. What's the point? Is it hard to relate to somebody over the internet? And it's not like you can like consummate or convert it like physically. Why do people do that? That's something I noticed a lot. People cave under pressure. I've experienced that too a little bit. Once in a blue moon. And I think it makes the game a lot more exhilarating if you're a little bit shook, if you're a little bit overwhelmed playing it. So I kind of envy these people. I would be on the back foot in all of my games if I could. Yuppie, yuppie. Are you sure you found me the You sound like somebody a little bit wholesome. You're sure you're not who I think you are? Is that like a no, or is that like a no but yes? Like, did you wink with the nuh-uh? You gotta give us more context. What you got there, Meg? What's that in your hand? I used to be a nurse, one trick. I have 8.1k hours on a nurse, but I have divorced her for Wesker. I can play everybody. I'm quite good at everybody. Slinger. Death Slinger is by far my weakest. And that's because I play on a massive 1500 DPI. So, Slinger and the pixel shots kind of show me up on that a bit. If you mean aesthetically, no, but I do like throwing my weight around, and I like yeeting survivors. And I really like the healthy balance that Wesker has between this satisfying, chonky power with the big windup and the committed dashers that he strikes with also playing an M1 killer. And like you have this really clunky, rigid tool, almost like a Protoss abilities in StarCraft 2, with a lot of cool applications. Like Wesker doesn't have one cool thing in his kit, but he has like a lot of different things that add together in a really comprehensive and nice way. I think he's the best designed killer in Dead by Daylight, with base kit Blight being a close second. I also really liked his motive. In the Call of Brine Eruption meta, you could hit and run with M2. And because the supply cases with the medical sprays don't respawn, you had this really cool mini-game of making people run out of cases and running around at 92% speed and being one-shot all game. And you'd hold a 3-gen. He did what Skullmerch and Knight like to do, but better. And he did it on a chassis that could actually kind of chase. I also like how Wesker makes you make choices between if you're going to use your power to gap close or as a chasing tool, and if you're going to try to use it as a chasing tool as well. It's not like Blight where you always have the power. Wesker makes you make like these little micro decisions, but he also flows. And you know, not for nothing, Smug, I'm surprised that anybody watches me, and I would imagine, and I don't know this because I don't like look at the count, but I'd imagine most of the time I stream to an empty room. The only reason I put games up at all is because Dead by Daylight has no replay system, and I'm just being nice. I'm not particularly here to stream or make any form of content, if that wasn't obvious. And I guess I don't get it because I'm not really somebody that watches a lot of content. But if I did, I couldn't imagine myself watching this because all of the games, like, there's no entertainment value, there's no suspense. It's just a killer running around and like raffle mouse stomping everybody. And I'd imagine that it was even more so when I get like a really strong team, unless it's like a nail biter, because like really good survivors in a matchmaking environment like have really non-interactive metas. And the game like becomes kind of flat. I think that for like the entertainment and the journey, you'd be better off watching like a really low skill killer. Or even better, a low skill survivor. Somebody like wandering around getting scared or some shit. But hey, if this is what you like, welcome aboard. What do they call it? Tsundere? I think like not liking and like not wanting or complaining a lot is like part of the aesthetic. And if that's his style or her style, then cool. I can like be her ugly baka or whatever it's called. You're welcome to add me on Discord, by the way. Like, I don't want to turn you into a jester, but I'm kind of here for it.
I'll see you dead.
Hey, Smug Muffin, if I asked you a question, would you be honest? Would you tell me the truth if it was from me?
Start.
Like, would you come clean? Would you be truthful? Like, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but are you sure we didn't play?
Playtime is over. Is that all you have?
I'm a bit of a neat freak. Like, people call me a ski furry, but I'm really big on hygiene. Almost a bit prissy, even.
Do you actually think you can defeat?
The throw is always really nice, by the way, because they lose distance in the airtime. Like, why turn it around when you can back it up? You know, there's a joke in there somewhere. Because even though I do get a lot of sun, I also go through a lot of sunscreen. So, like, it's got potential. And a good game to Blendette. I hope she had fun.
You disappoint me. Is that the best you've got?
The dressing is strong. Oh, the question! I asked you, are you sure we didn't play? Like, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but But you and me, we had some matches together, didn't we? And what's up with the Smug Muffin tag anyways? You didn't name your YouTube account after me, did you? Smug and Smug, 2 P's in the pod. Hey, if you want to feel me in your cheeks, you gotta buy me dinner first. I'm very strict on that. And how many matches was it? It wasn't a one-time thing, was it? Is it? I didn't check. I'll take your word for it. Oh hey, this is a TikToker. That's pretty good. You're not trying to groom me, are you? Check it out, she's gonna die. Rip Megalodon. I really do hope she had fun. I've never been a moderator on Discord. Don't get me wrong, my server list is full, but I've never volunteered for that shit. Too much drama. You didn't answer me though. About what this kitten business is. By the way, my Discord tag is the same as here. But hit me up. We'll be best friends, I'm sure. You can like flame me in my DMs. How cool is that? All these beamers, and I'm sending them to Dead Dog. It's so nostalgic. You remember when people used to hang out with locker saves on main building? I'm kind of pissed that they patched that. I ain't no mod. I'm just a humble user. Or does that sound even worse? That's okay, Smug. You don't have to tell anybody. I'd make a kiss and tell joke, but that'd be laying it a bit thick. Fantasies? What an interesting word to use. Freud is like rolling over in his grave. I wish to be young again.
I shall release Ouroboros.
Okay, do you want to talk about it? You really are tremendously funny.
Too bad you won't make it much further.
Quick and quiet! On the girl that was hanging out next to the, what's it called? Windowsill, that's good. Quick and quiet was one of my favorite perks at one point.
Poor performance indeed. 7 minutes is all I can spare. Do you actually think you could defeat me?
It's nice to throw her at the hook, by the way, because now we can kind of like hang out with both of them in the same area. I'm sure we played a bunch of times. I feel a deep-set rapport, some type of history that is currently undisclosed, but oh, it's there. That Smug Muffin character was this Meg, and I think more than once. And you know what? I'm proud to have made their acquaintance. They seem like a real charming sort of fellow. Aw, never tell me why. You gotta leave me guessing.
Playtime is over.
Username checks out. Kid is zooming. I could troll the Unbreakable if I pick up the other Kate and wiggle her off and make the bleed time a little bit closer. But made for this exists. So that's less attractive than it used to be. I love me too. Thanks for the match. Good game well played. Now I'm about to eat her Tenacity Unbreakable Soul Guard and maybe hatch. Otherwise we'll see if we can what's it called? Without Soul Guard and Reslug. After Reaper Rising bleeds out, Erect will be on Death Hook, and we can deny both of their 4%. I don't want to carry her too much because Flap and Boil Over is also a thing. And those are the sorts of things you run with at Tenacity. Yes, I used to be a nurse to one trick, but I divorced her for Wesker. Thanks for the game, good game well played. You guys were awesome. Lightweight is a beautiful perk, by the way. They really nerfed killer Budwebs for the event. Maybe she's busy. I'm sure we know each other through DPD, and I'm sure that's it as well. I don't have anybody like that in my social circle. Oh no! This Fallen Angel character has 4 hours on record. How the hell is he in my lobby? This is gonna be a disaster. Oh, I hope they're smurfing. Imagine having more than 1,200 times somebody's hours. Hey, Boneyard's a park map. I miss the old Boneyard though. You know what I really miss? I miss old Haddon Fun. Yeah, me too. But only like at certain hours of the morning. And since the event, it's been this, and it's been like nothing but this. Like there are days when like all of my lobbies are zoos. And then there are other days where I consistently get better teams. And then like at least a few gens get done. But like it's patched up.
I shall release Ouroboros.
I wonder if behavior turned off matchmaking for the event. I have a 100% 4K rate with Wesker. And it's kind of funky that this is allowed to happen.
Playtime is over.
Aww, she's not calling me Slugger. A slug and a down next to the hill tile would have been like the ultimate trick on this map. Who knows? But this is bad, even for me.
Is that all you have?
I don't like spraying there, by the way. Like, don't show me that, please. We have multiple things, by the way, so we're looking for Rex. Rex is the pro.
Poor performance indeed. Just getting started. Too bad you won't make it much further.
Wow. I wonder what the 4-hour meg is doing.
You disappoint me. Is that the best you've got?
Like, what am I supposed to do?
You will not live to see the dawn.
Thanks, behavior. Very good job so far. If one person DCs, like if it's at the start of the match, I face cam my first down. With deadlock and no way out.
I'll see you dead.
Well, if you mean like for a hatch game, I'll stand on hatch, I'll make people do 5 gens, or I'll make them do generators until I think they're in like an area where there's a tile, or I'll close hatch in their face. And I'll look if they have a key. If they do have a key, I'll throw them away and I'll down them suddenly. That way they can't like use the key on the hatch. It has like a little bit of a cast time. If that's what you mean. I wonder what the blue thing does. Does it just destroy the pallet for me? Imagine if that's what it is. Oh my god, Entity just ate my thing. It ate my prop. I got the night bug. Hey, they're both here. Alright, blue thing, check. Aww, it's not instant. That's no fun. No, I'm somebody who will convert the game and then complain that the game was the way it was. If survivors disconnect or something of that fashion, then I feel like I went to a restaurant, I ordered something to eat, and I was served cold food. But in Dead by Daylight, you can send your survivors back. And so then I'm kind of stuck with them, and I finish my plate, but I do it begrudgingly. When they added an endgame collapse timer, I would even body block people for the entire hour, so that they would be sacrificed at the end of the timer. And I wouldn't have to like hit them and give them distance for hatch, and it was like the most tedious and stupid shit. I posted on Reddit and the behavior forums that hopefully they could make like the kill or lose collision if they stood still for too long, maybe give it like a 30-second timer, or maybe survivors with AFK codes would be able to lose their collision, something like that. But that was a situation that was more common in like the Eruption Overprime meta, which we no longer have. Also, I did get a DM from Peanut asking me not to do that. And in a way, I do sometimes feel like a little bit sorry for the survivors, because like this probably isn't what they should be playing against. But who knows, maybe they like, and maybe they benefit from it. I know when I was new, I would have killed to be getting this as my matchmaking experience. And if every game was like this, I'd play a lot more Survivor. One of the reasons I play as much killer as I do is because killer players kind of suck and they don't do what they have to do to make the game interesting. If everybody was like me, I'd play a lot. I think that some killer players will buy you Pepsi and call you nice names, and other killers will drink all of your Pepsi and call you a bitch. I try to be the latter. At least in the gameplay. Honestly, I'm kind of nice about it. But at the same time, like, the killer sets the pace of the game unless the team is very, very coordinated and very good. In this game, the survivors are the oh, I just missed the dead Agorfa ring. F. The survivors are the control and the killers are the test. And if the team is super, super strong, you need to find something that can win, and you can get what in StarCraft would have been called a build order loss. It absolutely exists, so like 50-50s cannot go your way, and you can just kind of get wrecked even if you do everything right. But in matchmade DBD, for the most part, that isn't the case at all. And you have the ability and the responsibility to give the survivors a thrilling and potentially oppressive game. And if you're doing a good job, most teams are gonna fold. Even if you're playing garbage M1 loot bait stuff. They got me so much cake. Oh yeah. Ah, what was their name again? I'm kind of missing them. By time. I usually go by time. I'll tell you, my original Steam was stolen. So this is a second account. And I have 11,000 and change hours logged. Some of that wasn't in game, some of that was just like logged in. But on the lifetime of this account, I think I have 10 or 15 games in matchmaking that involved escapes. None in Wesker yet. My last escape was in March of last year. Unless you want to count my games against Eternal, which I got fucking dumpstered in, by the way.
Too bad you won't make it much further.
I hope they play with me again. That was a little bit unfortunate. I was super post all-nighter and not awake. And even though the games were kind of lull, it was really nice to have something different for a change. Yep, I have a 100% 4K rate with Wesker, with the exception of people hatching out at 5 gens and a Kate that flew over the exit gate and started the match.
Hard performance indeed.
Actually, on stream last night, somebody got out, but that was a DC at 5 gens type thing, and they went through hatch. That Meg just fucked me, by the way. Like, I'm gonna win this game, but the moral victory is
Do
there.
you actually think you could defeat me?
And like, Wesker's power isn't super good versus really strong teams. But he's kind of like Legion, where he will fucking destroy a shitty team. Like, Wesker's M2 is like a second Sloppy Butcher. And people will throw during ultrism. And you get like that little bit of information, you get that little bit of catch up, it makes you really consistent, less map dependent than other killers. If like you're not being critically tested in Jace. And you've got to understand that I run double Eries and I run map offerings every game. With the new Blood Webs, which came out in time for Wesker, I was able to get his best kit faster than I could spend it. And if you noticed in my tab, I have 1100 games and change of double Eerie Wesker in tow. So that helps too. And if I'm burning stuff like Midwich and Larry's and Dead Dog every game, I think that helps with most teams. Like, a lot of the games are write-offs. Because even though like this isn't exactly an S tier killer, it might as well be versus 9 out of 10 lobbies that would have otherwise had a chance. So it's not like a 4,000 or whatever game streak, so much as like a 400-ish. If you don't count the ones that aren't worth counting. And it's a pet peeve, because my favorite map in the game right now is actually Garden of Joy. But I can't send myself there in good faith. Because as a killer player, I feel kind of obligated to try and engineer a game and like do what I can to give people a really raw deal. I think that the lab photo is worth it because Wesker's M2 is bugged unless they fix that. If you vault a pallet, they can vault back into you. And they can reset tiles that are otherwise playable. Sometimes the vault is better than the pallet break. It's not like Compound 33, which is super fast. But it doesn't have that problem. And it gives you something to work with and more tiles. And getting rid of resources and hooking people in dead zones with Deadlock, Sloppy, and No Way Out is really nice.
7 minutes is all I can spare
Oh, she's wriggling.
to play with you.
Oh! I camped the wrong slug. F. I misjudged them. If they're not a team that's going to do the counterplay properly, I don't need my M2. I'll win with M1. Like, you want perks that help you with the worst case scenarios. I'm not playing Corrupt Intervention to make Dead Dog and Midwich, which have predictable and fast spawns, better. And it's not the mid-game slowdown perk it used to be either. But when people burn for 4 Red Forest offerings and they get Mother's Dwelling, Corrupt is nice. Or if people spawn in 4 separate generators on Gas Heaven, and they know how to hold W to main building, then it's nice. Like, I'm just trying to be consistent. And they were making fun of me earlier for like sitting in front of a hook and spinning around and hitting people instead of like going for more chases like True Talent does with his the way he was pushing us to play earlier. But I could get away with playing some different way, but I do like to be consistent, like to do what I can to give the game a firm handshake and to do my job. I don't want to be the butcher that leaves too much meat on the carcass. You want to cut to the bone, you want to get the correct yield, and you want to convert things for what they're worth. And any variance, I think, should come from Survivor's merit and from just the natural nature of RNG and 50/50s and all that good stuff. Like, this game is very high variance and it's very pretty. The game will do that for me. And I will try to make consistency and a method to the madness. I think a lot of esports and PvP games and all that good stuff is very much that way. Where you're advocating to get a good version of events. And I think it's a moral and ethical responsibility to try to do a good job on that. Like I was saying earlier, I don't like when people goof around in my games, unless the game is already genuinely and reasonably over. And if this was like chess where you had a resign button, or a StarCraft where you could just leave, I would say that people should be leaving when the game is done. Yeah, no, it's not balanced, but it's playable. You can entirely win a like a really strong stacked team that has all the abusive loadouts on a stacked map and coordinated clock callouts with like a M1 loop it killer. Based on like a spawn logic and like where you intercept people, like where gens spawn, and like if you win your 50/50s. There can be layers of things that qualify the attempt, but as long as you have something that can work, it's fine. Or you can have Old Shelter Woods spawn with negative pallets versus Crackbilly or Eerie Tag Blight, and you can make the game playable. Even if somebody DCs at the start of the match. Or even if like the killer has good net and resources aren't usable because they're gonna poke or so. Like there are things you can do, even if it requires like layers of immersion and like pre-splits and resets that you couldn't have forced. As long as it's something to play for and fight over, at some point in the game it's okay. And Killer, Survivor too, but it's usually Killer that gets this, can have like a really low scoring percentage. But as long as they have something, it's fine.
Too bad you won't make it much further. Poor performance indeed. I'll see you dead.
By the way, this team could conceivably beat me. Like you put them on a big enough map and maybe they bring some brand new parts to the game, Mother's Dwelling or like Rotten Fields and multiple gens pop before I find my first chase, and maybe someone gets scared and hides in the gym where like they would have went down instantly, but I just happened to miss them. Like this team could entirely kick my ass. Now if I play 1,000 games with them, am I likely to 4K them all? Yes. But they could win, and that's good enough. Killer gets to deal with that too. Like people say that Killer is really weak if the survivors play well or play at a high level. Yes, but like you can win. I think it's because sometimes people try and they feel like a jackass, so they feel like they're wasting their time if it doesn't go their way. But I like Killer, and I don't mind fighting a losing battle. Garbage teams can win.
Oh.
It's improbable, but it can happen.
Just getting
And you've got to
started.
realize as well that Killer and Survivor are very different games. Like, you have different skill sets. You're not competing with like the same thing. And you're not getting better at the same thing. It doesn't directly compare.
You disappoint me. Is that the best you've got?
But I try pretty hard to take the variance out of this. And if you give me enough space, I'll do things that can be kind of consistent. To the point where I will play around with a straight face, perks like flip-flop and slippery meat. Or like hatch percentages. I will make the game harder win. And I'll make it harder to be lucky. The vast majority of my escapes on an 11,000 hour account have been from the third person disconnecting so the fourth could hatch out. Almost all of them. I think a lot of people don't want to be that tedious though. And it can be tedious. You have a 6% chance to get a skill check when you let go of a generator, by the way. That's probably what happened to this ace. Oh, when in doubt, hard slug. When you get like a really miserable map, and you're playing a really weak killer, I like to err on the side of slugging very hard. And then there's like another layer where like you slug the unbreakables and like you might have to do it multiple times. But if you throw a coin up many times, you can get heads many times in a row. Some of the time. And if people are resetting the slugs manually, you can try to metagame that, you can try to predict that, and you can try to pick people up. Or you can instigate an altruism cycle that way. The more desperate killer is, the harder they slug. Trying to format slug is the real version of what people say like campers do. Where like they camp because they have no skills. Or because they have like no traction and they have nothing to do a converter work with. And it asks you to have quick traces. And it asks you to convert like people who hold W and like die in smart places. And if they do like comp corner you and they do have unbreakables, then it kinda sucks. But worst case scenario is just the goalpost getting further and further away. That said, I think that right now in current state of DBD, that tunneling is something you can like kind of seriously try to do. There are some like really crappy situations though, like you're playing twins, and you can't down people with Victor because power struggle exists, and you have people dying on pallets, and it's a small map so they can also pick each other up, and they're also splitting efficiently in gens and all of that other worst case scenario stuff that usually doesn't happen unless you're going out of your way to like play with people that actually know what they're doing. No. For the most part, most of my matches are easy, and don't get me wrong, like Dead by Daylight has some of the best crisis management I've seen in any game, and I'm a former StarCraft player. Dead by Daylight can entirely feel like a really brutal, like Terran versus Zerg, and you're the Zerg and you had a bad start. And it's like the most exhilarating, addicting thing. The claustrophobic, pressured feeling you get being in the back foot as killer is so much more oppressive than like playing Survivor against like a slugging Blight or Nurse with like a bad team. I fucking love it. But for the most part, no, you don't really get that. The last time I had something that was kind of like in that neck of the woods, I would say was the last day, the very last day of SBMMR testing, when it was very strict and like when you had to wait 40 minutes to get a match. Every game was kind of down to the wire and every game was really hard. And every game I played felt like something I could lose. But that was only one day. And then the closest thing and a very different flavor was when I was like actually new to DBD and like trying to play Billy because Nurse didn't exist yet. But everyone sucked back then and then it was different. It's fun to punch up though. It's fun to like solve problems and like to really get to dig deep and like bring it out. You know what it's like? It's like a runner's high. Like when you run and you're out of breath and you get that second wind and like you try to push forward but like physically like you don't know if like you can, like you just kind of have to and like you just like eat it out there, and if it works as well like in the context of DBD it feels amazing, like there's a big payoff. I'd play all my games like that. But beggars can't be choosers. I am a matchmaking enjoyer, and I'll kill what I can get.
I
So,
shall
oh my
release
God.
Ouroboros.
No, I wasn't being cute, by the way. That was real.
More from you.
I just kind of pooped the bed a bit.
Poor performance in.
Maybe not quite as hard as the Bill pooped the bed.
7 minutes is all I
We
can
packed the sheets
spare.
together. Ha, together. Maybe that means we should hang out with them. It's early enough. I can.
Is that all?
I was
you
gonna say I could
have?
camp, but I hear Jill noises. So we're gonna carry her towards the hook and we're gonna slug her. I thought about hooking her next to the gen and just kicking her. But no, we're gonna give her a little bit of space because Bill is closer to second and I really want him to go second. It's always the Bill players, man. Them and the Ashleys. Unhook him. The fast tunnel. she's injured too. Oh no. Leon's too far. Dude, Leon, you gotta get here, man.
Playtime is over.
Made for this as a perk so we don't give him the left tap.
Do you actually think you can defeat me?
This is the type of shit you can do to make it less likely for a trash tomb to win. Like, the reason I bleed people out is to deny the 4%, and I'll hang out with the tallest slugs so that they have to disconnect to instigate a hatch play. Suicide is Leon. And like the meta changes, like with corrupt and deadlock and eruption, not corrupt deadlock, with like eruption and no way out and not no way out. What's it called? Eruption Call It Brine. Yes, eruption Call It Brine. In that meta, my games were different. A lot of the time, I didn't even down people. I just injured them. I hit and run all game. I bled every paladin in the map. I kept the gens at 0. I kicked them till the entity killed them, or till people like disconnected. Oh, there's plenty of emotions. I slug them with love. Like, just because I'm getting cold food doesn't mean I'm not going to serve them a good meal in return. They queue up and they're going to get the proper experience. And I can be proud of my work. Like, they might waste my time, but I'm not going to waste theirs. And if they complain about it, tough love. Be the change you want to see in the world, you know? That's the other reason I prefer Sloppy over shit like Jolt. Because if somebody heals into Sloppy, then I know somebody did a dual totem for inner healing, or somebody actually ate the mangled effect, LOL. And it gives me a lot of information towards going forth to choose how much camping I can do. Yeah, I'm game for it. I would kill for something that makes it hard for me to reliably win my games. Like when they were talking about base pin unbreakable, I was so excited for the unbreakable soul guard meta. You have no idea. I was jumping out of my skin. And that was at a time period where I was slugging a lot more too. Because we didn't have a tunnel meta, and we didn't have a proxy meta. Like, my bias to play this way is partly because I'm running Deadlock No Way
I'll
Out.
see you dead.
And for the reasons you said, Wesker. before in the Eruption and No Way Out, you had a way of constantly, an Eruption World Grind meta, where you had a way of long-term moving the goalpost back, and you could try to play a long game against survivors. I was making survivors run out of supply cases in Wesker, and my win condition was making people red all game. But Wesker can't play that way anymore, like, unless for some reason people are instantly spraying and some unfortunate events happen, like, you can't really do that. The game's too fast. And like right now, every killer is kind of turned to like Huntress or Trapper, where like you're trying to catch up to the survivors, or like you're trying to suddenly win, like punishing an altruism cycle. One of the really cool things from killer point of view about the Call of Brian Eruption meta was that you could counter holding W, because you could make the game about the generators. And it made survivors stick their neck out a little bit more and give you easier hits. Because if they didn't touch the gens would go back to 0 and you could actually feasibly play that game. And that's also what made Nowhere to Hide such a good perk when that was a thing too. But right now, if a team is so inclined, you could try to be very immersed. You could wait near a generator, you could start working on it when the killer is done. When the killer checks on it and leaves, you could even use perks like Hyper Focus and Scavenger to blitz the generators. You could have 30-second solo gens with a sick enough toolbox. And you could try to win the game without giving the killer a chase. You know, on a Swift, have someone take Distortion, you know if there's lethal. You can treat it like old Corrupt, you could actually wait that shit out. You could pre-split on 4 gens and you could blow them up. And like, the hell am I gonna do against that? Insult to injury, burn 4 really strong matching map offerings, I can't even sacrificial ward them. And you can give me a game that a decent team should not be able to lose to me with, without like that Hail Mary stuff I was talking about earlier. You can give me really shit margins. But that's Disney talk, because people don't do it. You know, now that Scavenger's a thing, I haven't seen any team try to bullshit me with intelligent use of like Gen-Rush builds. And it's such a tease because like now that it exists in its current form, I'm really looking forward to it. There's stuff that exists right now that I'm not really prepared to deal with. And I'm sure I'll run into it eventually, I have faith. You know what else I really miss? I miss medkits. And I miss PTB Circle of Healing. I was spamming Wraith for that. It was amazing. Like right now, you can definitely W and pre-throw everything and play super safe. And fast gens make the whole like pre-throw and like run early, take no risks, and like delay the coin flips. Just take like lowest to guaranteed value. It makes that playstyle so much better. Like right now, M1 killers and Meteors are so abusable compared to how they usually are. The nuclear options survivors have right now, if you use them intelligently, are fucking ridiculous. And it's actually kinda hot. I just fucked up. I needed that volt. That's valuable tempo.
I'll
Used to be able to
see
heal
you
in 16
dead.
seconds though. With a brown medkit. Brown medkits were better than every killer perk at the time. And you had a better distance with W and the attack cooldown was... Yeah, they're still using it, but it's worse.
Just
I
stop.
miss old medkits. And I miss when Syringe Diptych didn't have a counter. I miss old Dead Hard. Okay, everyone's red. We're injured. Good. That means I can afford to camp this. And they just sprayed on main as well. Not hitting that bolt, by the way, kind of fucked me. That was really bad.
I expected more from you.
I'll play the grab game with Fang.
Poor performance indeed.
Ah, she turned in for the speed boost. Yeah. I like when stuff like that exists. Well, like we had like the flashlight infinites. And you could have a safe zone where the killer couldn't even bleed you out because they couldn't knock you down to force the bleed. Again. Yeah.
Too bad you won't make it much further.
Like I like some of those
You
features too.
disappoint me. Is
Like
that the
playing
best you
Spirit
got?
on Old Haddonfield where you had the balconies on main building that you had to pull through to get onto the roof. And so Spirit couldn't use the power on that one particular map to gap close the survivors. People would have run up there to reset. Like that shit was so cool. That it existed.
Is that all you have?
Like I'm here for it. Give me the paleto. Yeah, I tried. I wanted I'm getting Breaks vibes from the Gabriel. But okay, I'll play ball. Honestly, after this game, I should probably get off and eat something. I am way too drunk to be playing this. Yeah. Most of my games are pretty, like, unreasonable. But I would say that during the event, it's been discernibly or, like, noticeably worse. Like, it feels before that, like, 1600 is the cap, and, like, we know how, like, the soft cap works, and it's just too low, yada yada. And, like, you can be bared and get to quote-unquote maximum R, and it was almost like older ranks. But, like, this feels worse. Oh, because, we're waiting on GMK to bleed. Gabe. If I hook, Lori, she gets a chance to 4%. And if GMK has Unbreakable and makes distance, he can hide and get a chance at hatch. He can run, he can make distance. So it gives chances to both of them. Well, no, she can't 4%. She had a hook state. I just forgot. But if Gabe had Unbreakable and she dies on hook, then what do I do? A race for hatch? And maybe I don't win that. Probably do. You'd be surprised. I've seen a lot of people hold Unbreakable for the last second, waiting for the teammate to bleed out or to be hooked. I've actually seen that dozens of times. Like, people metagame and try the same thing, and you're absolutely right, that Lori has 240 hours in the game. Brand new. I've also seen people wait on Soul Guard. And I've had people with Soul Guard and Unbreakable wait till the last second, trying to bait me into M1 for a distance to, like, use the speed boost and get hatch, and disconnect when I pick them up like 7 seconds early to carry them to the hook. And I use the 7-second mark, or I like roughly estimate it to like make flip-flop less valuable too. I like to minimize the amount of time I have to like wait out Soul Guard. Like, people play that game with me. Anywho's, I'm gonna go from here. I'll probably be on later, so it was nice meeting you, Yuppie. Again, like, it's some tedious shit. Like, that why not attitude is definitely more popular. But I'm gonna go eat something. Nice meeting you.